when I was younger, hey, I used to get frustrated quick. I remember, now this was before I got into IT. This when I was working retail. I remember I would get frustrated. Welcome to DebtFreeinIT. I'm your host, Mike. This podcast is for anyone who's looking to get into the IT industry, whether it's for a career change or you're just interested. I think you come to the right place. If you're 40 plus and you're looking to transfer into tech, it's never too late, and don't think of it as you're starting over. We're basically transferring your skill set over. So today, I'm going to show you how the life skills you already have can help start your IT career. So let's get to it. So the first skill on my list is problem solving. So by the time you're in your 40s and older, you probably done had your fair share of problems. So you might have done had different issues at home that you had to resolve, different issues within your business you had to resolve, and then different issues on past jobs. So let's just say if you worked retail, I'm pretty sure if you worked retail, you probably had a customer come in with an issue you never seen before or an issue you never had to deal with, and you had to figure out how to resolve that issue on the fly. I'm saying that to say this. Most roles in IT evolves around the same thing, solving problems. It's a never-ending cycle. So something gets upgraded, something gets implemented, then automatically whatever that was, you go from rolling out that update to now you're supporting that update. And then let's just take if you're in networking. If you're in networking, you're supporting the networking infrastructure. So any kind of networking issues, those problems is coming to your team. Any kind of security issues, those problems is coming to that team. So IT, anything in IT in general usually evolves around solving problems for users within your organization. So sometimes that could be a small organization with only a couple users. Sometimes that could be a very large organization with hundreds or thousands of users. But basically, you're supporting those users so that they can do their job without having any issues. Any kind of technical difficulty they have, a lot of times there's going to be a department that handles that issue. If there's a user using their computer and all of a sudden that computer dies down, more than likely, 9 times out of 10, that enterprise will have a desktop team that's responsible for solving the issue of if different PCs go down on the network. So there'll be a ticket sent into the desktop team. The desktop team goes out, replaces that PC, get the user back up and running. So at the age of 40, you done had your fair share of problems. And then one thing at the age of 40 that deals with problems, that is a good thing, is at the age of 40, when it comes to problems, a lot of times we're more calm, we're more cool-headed, where we don't get frustrated easily, which is something when you're young, you do tend to get frustrated pretty easily. I admit, when I was younger, hey, I used to get frustrated quick. I remember, now this was before I got into IT, this when I was working retail. I remember I would get frustrated. Hey, usually I'm pretty quiet and calm, so by the time I get frustrated, I'm pretty much at the end of the road. So usually when I got frustrated, I ended up probably just finding another role or going on somewhere else, but that's something that I wouldn't do now. Now it takes much more for me to get frustrated with something. So, and that's something that just comes with age. So at the age of 40 and over, like I said, I think your temperament is pretty good at this age. So any kind of problems, it's not going to get you frustrated. You're not going to lose your cool. You're able to think through that problem more clearly, then go out and resolve that problem for the user. So this is a skill at the age of 40 we have that transfers over real good in IT. So the next skill on my list is the ability to organize and plan. So by the time we hit 40, a lot of times you may have already been in positions or you may already been in situations where you had to organize and plan different things. So the tech position that this skill directly aligns to is project management, which is also, like I said, a tech position. But with project management, so you're responsible for handling projects, scheduling, different kind of teams, making sure the right person is on the call to get the project done, making sure you have check-ins to make sure that the project is moving along smoothly. And then if any issues arise within those projects, you're able to go out and find another resource to solve that issue or find a different person to put on that team. But basically, you're the one that's making sure the project moves along. So for someone in their 40s, if you came from a manager position, Let's say you had a manager position where you was the one fixing the schedules for all your workers or everyone that worked for you. You put out the schedule every week. Then any kind of upgrades that need to be done within that retail store, you was the one that pretty much planned that project, and then you the one that either you delegated that project out to someone else, or maybe it was a project you did on your own. So by the time we hit this age, like I said, you already had jobs where you was responsible for things getting done, such as projects, whether tech related or not. So like I said, and this aligns to project management. But then also, if you're not trying to go down that project management route, it also aligns to any engineer, administrator, or any IT personnel within an organization that has projects of their own. Because being able to organize and plan helps you out with managing your time wisely. Because like I said, when you're in a large enterprise, sometimes you may get hit with 2 or 3 projects at a time where you need to see or be able to put these projects in order of which one is most critical to which one I can take a little time on. So you need to be able to organize and plan, which is something that I think we have at the age of 40 and plus that'll help us out when we transition from any other position going into the IT industry. Quick pause. I'd like to introduce you to the Log Files. The Log Files is a weekly newsletter to help you start your IT career with practical advice and tips powered by yours truly. It launched it in the beginning of the year. It's packed with actionable advice, resources, and insights to kickstart your IT journey. The link is in the description as well as pinned in the comments. So don't miss out. Now back to the episode. So the third skill on my list is customer service and communication. So customer service and communication is key in any industry as well as the IT industry. So some of the roles that stand out when I think of customer service and communication, of course, is used in almost any kind of support position, but some of the main ones will be a help desk role. So usually in this help desk role, you're the first line of defense for the IT department. So basically any kind of issues, you're basically going to hear about those issues first, 9 times out of 10. So with that, you need to have the ability to listen, translate, and explain, which is critical in the IT industry. So that customer service and communication. So basically, you need to be able to explain technical issues to non-technical users, which is real big. And also, it's key within the industry because a lot of times you're dealing with users who don't know the IT lingo. You know, you may be dealing with users that's just using the software that you support. So they're not going to know all the technical jargon that has to deal with that software. So at this help desk role, you're the one that's going to be the in-between between the user at the organization and then whatever department in IT that needs to fix the issue that you get. So let's say that someone calls in and they're having an issue. They may not be able to explain it good to you, but at this help desk, with the ability to communicate and good customer service, so customer service goes a long way, but with good customer service, you may say, okay, let me remote into your PC. That way you can see their screen. And while you're remoted into their PC, you know, you're talking to the user. You're trying to get them to replicate whatever issue that they're having. So then when they replicate the issue that they're having, you automatically know that, okay, oh, this is such and such issue. So now you went from that user not being able to tell you what kind of issue they had to you using your good customer service skills, remoting in, you know, taking care of the user, putting them at ease, you know, saying you see what the issue is, you automatically know how to translate that issue to whatever team you need to send it off if it's something that you can't fix on your own. So this is critical, like I said, in IT, because a lot of times you're dealing with non-IT users that has problems that needs to be fixed, and they may not know how to translate whatever that issue is. So knowing the different tools that you can use in order to get an example of that user so that you can put it in a ticket and send it off to the correct team, all that is beneficial. So like I said, sometimes I think that customer service may come before the technical aspect in some positions. So I've seen some positions where you go on the interview and that person may not be technical savvy as they should be, but that person may have some excellent customer service. And anyone knows that if you find someone with good customer service, we can teach them the technical part, that they can learn that technical part long as they're willing to learn. Long as they're willing to learn, they can learn that technical part. We can get them trained up. But it's hard to get somebody trained up with good customer service overall. You can go through different programs and everything like that, but a lot of times that good customer service is born in you a lot of times. So when you find someone with real good customer service, a lot of times I have seen these type of people that move on up the ladder because, okay, someone gave them a chance because of that customer service, and then they started learning the technical aspect, got better, honed in their craft, and went on to whatever position they wanted to go to, whether that's an engineer position or senior engineer position. But customer service and communication goes a long way in the IT industry. So the last skill set on my list is financial management. So when I think of financial management, the type of tech role that stands out to me is cybersecurity, and basically going down the risk management and the compliance side of cybersecurity. So someone with a financial background, basically they've been used to managing budgets, tracking spending. So not saying that they're going to be doing the same thing as cyber, but the one common thing with tracking a budget and tracking spending and finding loopholes with different things, basically that person is already used to auditing, which is something that's done in cybersecurity. So a lot of times you will have a personnel, or you may have a team that does the auditing on the security side of things. So making sure that this organization have the correct policies in place, making sure that they have risk management in place, making sure that they have a lot of controls and procedures in place. So making sure that, okay, on the security side of things, making sure we have different rules and procedures in place so that, okay, let's say that if we get a new hire, we need to have different rules and procedures that shows what kind of access that person should have. So that person should not be allowed to access everything under the enterprise, being that this person is just getting on with the company. So a lot of times you have that compliance piece and that risk management piece that directly aligns to someone who was in the financial world before transferring over to tech. So when it comes to IT or someone trying to transition into this IT industry, a lot of times we may often think that we need to already be the best at everything, or we may already need to be at the highest point from a technical aspect. So a lot of times you will need to be teachable and ready to learn, basically learn something new every day. So be ready to learn. But in some situations, you may already have the skills that help you out in your transition. So hopefully some of the skills I mentioned can help you transition over to IT and get started within your journey. Because like I said, a lot of the skills I mentioned, like I said, they do go a long way. Customer service is always a real good skill to have because it could help you go from a retail position to a help desk position without even having the technical skill set. Because most of the time, someone new coming in, a lot of times we know that, okay, we can train this person up. Or maybe the organization may say, okay, we're going to take a chance on this person, but we're going to need them to get their technical skills up while they're on the job. So they may say, okay, we're going to give you a chance, but we want you to get this certification or take this class just to get your skill set up. So, and then as you start slowly getting more experience, you start building your skill set up. And then once you get interested in which route you want to go, then you start honing in on that skill. But a lot of times there's a lot of IT professionals in this industry who got their start based on customer service. Well, that brings me to the end of this episode. Hopefully you found some value in this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, you can follow me at DebtFreeinIT. If you have any questions, you can email me at debtfreeinit@gmail.com, or you can visit debtfreeinitwithmike.com. Other than that, I'll see you next week. Peace.